Moving into our camera match, we are going to have Pacer running Noise versus Zach's NEH.
Yep.
A deck we're pretty familiar with. We've seen a couple versions of it throughout the day.
Yep.
Probably pretty similar. Pacer we also saw on stream doing a lot of good work with his Noise against Blue Sun. Will his Noise deck be able to keep up with the speed and efficiency of NEH?
I mean, if one of the few decks that can do it, because the amount of disruption that it can occur, and considering how little ice Zach has, if a few of them end up in the bin, it's going to be pretty rough for him to recover from it.
That's
Especially
true.
the amount of pressure Noise can, like, you can just mill, no ice protection, medium. Let's go see what happens.
Pacer, probably also one of the few players today who's running Clot, which could prove a little bit of a speed bump.
He's got 2 Clot in the list. He doesn't have any clone chips to make it insta speed, but it can have a delay if he's gotten rid of CVS. But that's something else that's going to play a huge factor in this matchup. CVS is going to, interact with AMP and all those other viruses.
Yep. Another potentially impactful card is Pacer's Hacktivist Meetings.
Oh,
2X
Hacktivist, yeah.
Against an asset-heavy deck
opening
like
turn,
Zach.
considering there's very few agendas that can be scored out of hand out of that list.
And there it is.
Hacktivist. I think that card is a keep. Like, the rest of the hand maybe has to just be mediocre.
First turn Hacktivist is going to do a lot of work in this matchup. Zach.
A ridiculous amount of work.
Thinking.
Then all he has to do is just make sure he takes care of Sands.
Yep.
So there's no way for him to score except by scoring a 2-for-1, which he can't really stop. He can't stop the 2-1. Yeah. But aside from that, it's just crippling to a horizontal deck.
So we've got 2 Sensi, Sansan, Astro, Wraparound, solid hand.
And he's got Aesops in his hand, and Hacktivist, and a Data Sucker.
That is basically
a really good hand.
An auto keep for Noise. Just missing a little draw, but
Zach seems to be, thinking about this. He's not sure if he wants to take that mulligan.
Yeah, with only 1 ice in hand, no Jackson in sight. Is the Sensi enough? Won't trigger until the next turn.
Yeah, and where does he put that ice? He's going to take a mulligan.
At this point, going to have to shoot for the moon. Okay.
There was no ice. There was an ice, but it was it would have forced me to go probably, well, I don't know if I would have, but like it had double Sensi, Astro, Sansan, Wraparound. So I probably would have had to do like Astro, Wrap, Sensi. Like Astro cover with Wrap, Sensi. You run the Wrap, I res, I go Broach.
So Zach talking through the implication of his original opening hand. Might have gone for an Astro behind the Wraparound, but then you leave your centrals exposed, and Pacer could really do some work with Noise.
Gamble is like basically like everything has to survive. So like it doesn't seem.
Also running 2 David in the deck, going to be really nice against Wraparound and Archangel and Tollbooth. We'll see how that shapes out.
Just gonna pressure me, kill the Sensi, and then like I'll be broken to score. It's like okay, you might just have David.
Zach, definitely a chess-style player in that he's
going
thinking
through
many moves.
All the moves ahead, every time I ask Zach a question like Elias scenario, like, let's say you're playing this deck, you have this, and the runner does this. He asks me so many questions that I'm like not even considering. He's like, okay, what turn is it? How many points have been scored? What are the credits? I'm like, dude, just think about the situation outside. He's like, no, you can't think about just one thing.
The context.
I think about things like, what would you do X in this situation? Like, just like, in a vacuum, what would you do here?
So critical.
But he's always trying to draw out like the full scenario, which sometimes it doesn't exist.
And here we go. Sensi's actors.
Wow, he's got the
board.
econ. This hand's a lot better. That was what was that ice?
That was,
like
I believe, an Archangel.
Yeah, it looks Archangel.
Which could do some work. But does Zach know that a Hacktivist is on the horizon? Could be.
I mean, Hacktivist has to be playing turn 1.
Pretty brutal.
So strong. Data Sucker?
Pacer happy to mill the card there. Head in there with the Data Sucker.
Rounds R&D, gets the Data Sucker.
Just an Eli. Nothing crazy.
Lamprey.
Another mill with Lamprey. Not a bad one.
And Hacktivist coming down.
That is the Hacktivist meeting.
I'm surprised he didn't lay down Aesops this turn.
Well, perhaps he's content with not needing as much econ for the next few turns. Perhaps saving up for some trashing of cards.
No, the decisions has to be made. Do I Sensi?
At this point, I don't know if any cards in Zach's hand are unbelievably valuable, perhaps apart from CVS.
It's the power of that card. He's choosing not to use it.
Yep.
The discard's strong.
Maybe attempting to draw out a Jackson Howard and have some flexibility. Choosing to res the City Hall here, forcing a random discard from HQ. I think this is a decent decision. Hitting the
CVS is actually nice in the trash.
That is a pretty good one.
Because he runs there looking for agendas. It purges the Lamprey.
Yep. Zach quickly retrieving 2 Mumba Temples. Definitely going to do some work economically. No agendas in sight for any player. Question is he also resing them or just simply installing them?
No, they're just installed.
Yep. All right. Easy check there. NAPD.
Cannot afford it.
That being said, Pacer does have the ability to quickly remove that NAPD from the top of R&D and stow it in archives.
Click 2. This is hilarious. Because Pacer has done this before. Because if it's Archangel, he bounces a virus. So he just reinstalls a virus. And he can just infinitely run into... He can infinitely run into it and just mill.
Yep, yep.
And get HQ accesses. It's insane.
And that puts Zach in a really uncomfortable position, knowing...
And he's resing both Mumba Temples, so forcing 2 discards to res this ice. It's insane.
And there it is.
And really, I don't think Pacer cares much. He has to bounce this. He's going to get another data sucker.
Yeah, he's just pleased as punch.
And now Pacer can install, milling the NAPD.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And then...
No, I don't think he can. Let's see.
And this is
this purge is going to be actually not as bad because he doesn't lose the Lamprey at least.
Yeah. He's okay.
No, he gets some information.
And at least he knows it's there. Man.
Hey, you weren't agenda flooding.
That hacktivist.
Yeah, the hacktivist could have done a lot more work if he had any agendas. He has no agendas, though.
And that's fair. Zach not displeased about that, though he did lose quite a few daily business show, Sensi, that sort of thing.
I think you might want to keep that Jackson.
Yeah, that Jackson Howard.
Probably bottom the NAPD. I don't see that card seeing much impact right now.
Interesting that Pacer chose to run the Sensi Actors Union last click instead of milling the NAPD.
Yeah.
Perhaps he feels like it's just not even worth it to eventually steal. Zach, new remote there. Explodapalooza.
Yep.
Solid card.
Solid advanced ones.
Feeling confident that he's going to be able to get out this NAPD. I think he's probably right, although Pacer could have some tricks up his sleeve. And scoring this agenda could actually be really important because it does get Hacktivist Meeting off the board, which Zach is in dire need of.
Pacer's taking an interesting route here, being a little bit more aggressive. It's not really setting up much of a board. Like, it was okay a couple turns ago, but now having mostly nothing on the board is not that safe.
Yeah,
you got to get that Aesop going, man.
He's really not, not been that economically viable.
Pacer basically decided to keep his opening hand based on having the Aesops and having the Hacktivist. The Hacktivist actually not producing as much impact as we thought it would.
Well, I think his odds were good, you know.
Well, it just happened not to. No, I think it was definitely the right choice. Just happened not to produce, a milling of many agendas.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
And I think he needs to go get that Sensei off the board.
It is definitely helping out Zach get back into this game, and could see the score here or a shoring up of R&D.
Yeah, score gets rid of Hacktivist, which is really going to open up Zach's game. Whoa, choosing not to score it. Making some more remotes.
And that's fair. I mean, at this point, shoring up R&D is really nice because with Pacer having free reign over what is on top of R&D, trashing, all those sorts of noise-based interactions, wanting to cover up R&D, probably a reasonable line of play. Some breakers online for Pacer, which he's probably happy to see, between Archangel and any sort of wraparound turnpike action. Oh, nice. And Imp. Oh, man.
Purge.
Zach answering the imp with a sweet purge. And that is going to keep his Sensi Actors Union alive for yet another turn.
Interesting.
And that's the question, right? Is the Sensi Actors Union now more important than a big purge at a later point of perhaps Claude or some other...
this game is really interesting, the choices that some have been made. He's going out that NAPD now, which is turning off Hacktivist, which is pretty huge.
I think that's a great line of play for Zach. He's feeling
Zach,
a little better.
Really patient there, letting a couple more accesses occur and really just benefiting from it.
And knowing now that Hacktivist is a factor, going ahead and rezzing that pad campaign.
Yeah. Pacer eating the imp, which has lost his counters.
Reasonable line of play.
We got a little cut on our stream for a second.
Some technical difficulties. Stick with us. We'll be right back with our video here.
So one of the crazy things about NEH, you try to pressure them early, and you just if you don't get any agendas or no real traction, just the game might get away from you. It seems like that's what's happening.
It's really tough, you know. NBN, not a faction known for being very secure on their servers, but having various filtering effects and other ways to slow down the runner sometimes pays off to be a little porous.
Yeah. Ooh, there's the first Astro coming in, and that might be another Astro right through a couple cards below. It's a GFI.
GFI on the bottom. I think a very reasonable play on Zach's part. Does he go for an Astro behind the piece of ice? Or is he content to sit back, hang out behind the Archangel and Biotic on the next turn?
I think, oh no, this is actually better. He's got a Sandset now.
Ah, Sandset.
Put a Sandset there, scored off that.
Absolutely. Combined with the Mumba Temple, he's getting a crazy amount of efficiency on this line of play. I think a very reasonable choice. And Pacer kind of in a tough spot. He can't really generate...
Just, without Wildside, he's just not going anywhere. I think he really didn't mulligan so he could keep the Hacktivist like we mentioned and just was going to rely on that to carry him, and he just hasn't seen any card draw. Without card draw, really Noise can't do much.
Combined with the fact that the cyber decks in the archives there, getting any significant data sucker presence to perhaps leverage Parasite, it's all a little too slow on Pacer's side all around.
I don't know what happened there, but there some sort of disagreement, and they seem to have clarified it.
I'll just go ahead and res it. So one of those.
Not quite sure what the point of contention is, but we've got a third resed Mumba Temple there. Zach is probably happy to see. If you're Pacer at this point, do you think you have any hope of addressing this flood of assets?
Oh, he's eating the Parasite. He just needs money. He needs something to happen.
That's totally fair. Street Peddler.
Street Peddler is cool.
Could be nice. David, is he sensing agendas? He does also have a second imp. He's going in.
Okay, yeah, Zach's just rezzing because it's free, just to make him burn the David counter.
Good call.
Yeah, by Pacer, knowing that he would need the David. Street Peddler coming in.
Pretty
nice.
A
wild side.
There it is. A wild side. Perfect Street Peddler draw for what Pacer needs right now.
He doesn't have the money for it right now. Oh, but he can eat. No, I don't know if it works. Yeah, it's too late. You can't eat with Aesops and then still use it, so he's going to have to wait a turn on that wild side. Sensei still going at it.
Crazy draw.
More Sansens.
Pretty happy just shoring up his HQ. Archangel doing a lot of work in this matchup.
Yeah, that Sensei needs to go, man. It's been there too long.
At this point, I don't know if Pacer can address that.
It's 2 credits?
But it's 2 credits Pacer can't afford right now.
He's got an imp. You could also eat your data sucker.
And that might be Pacer's next line of play. It's just clear off Imp with the Sensi. Oh, and the third Cyberdex Virus Suite. Zach must be pretty pleased about that one.
Yeah, I think Noise just had to take a faster approach in this game. It's really getting away from him if he doesn't get something soon.
And he's getting really unlucky.
And no Jackson pops either, so
yep.
the milling is not going to be, it's not what's going to get you there.
Right. Between the milling on Archives and the milling from HQ with Hacktivist, nothing has come up in Pacer's favor. We'll see what Zach's line of play is here.
Your remote. Trying with NEH. Gets a pad. Another card in the remote.
So that's 2 Sands now on the board. One behind wraparound, one naked. And that is going to be a pretty sure thing in terms of getting that Astro script out the door.
Yeah, I think you want to get that pad down. You've got these Mumba temples to res it too. Just lay it down now.
I agree. It could be a very strong play.
Looks
although
like he's going for the Jackson.
The Jackson is a good safety blanket for any shenanigans Pacer might be
discarding
pulling.
down. I think he just discarded one of the Astros.
Yeah, at this point, he could be nervous
he has
about.
Both. He has both. He has both Astros. I think some of the random.
There we go. Oh, and it looks like Pacer heading into HQ there. He does have the Imp, so even if he does not find an agenda, he could get something good. And the Astro script.
Hit.
Good pull for Pacer. The thing that he needs.
Again. Man, if he hits that other Astro, Zach is going to flip the table and the game will end.
This would be a whole different game.
Yeah, if he takes both the Astros. Oh, misses here.
There's a pad campaign.
I think you just imp it, run again.
Unfortunately, it looks like Pacer.
No, you're out of. I know you're out of David counters. Just run. That's the worst that can happen.
That's fair. At this point,
who's going to bounce?
Yeah.
Bounce the virus. Bounce David. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Aesop
would be bad.
It's still a credit. Yeah, I have to say, unless Pacer had something really impactful under the Street Peddler, which would unfortunately
it's the wild side, but he could use the wild. He could install the wild side right now for just a credit. I mean, for 2 credits
prior to,
and then just run into and just eat the Archangel. Bounce your. You basically reset your David and your Imp. It's a cool play.
It's a good point. It is cool. I wonder if it will occur to Pacer to take that line of play.
I spent 5, so like I'm gonna break it.
Zach getting
dang. Imagine if you get the other Astro.
Nice little value.
Insanity.
There. Yep.
And Sensei's still happening.
Crazy good.
It's better than DBS, man. It's so good.
It certainly gets you there. If you need to see something, you can certainly see it. And Zach, I think, unless he fears a clot on the Street Peddler, might just go for that that Astro script score there.
No action. Advance once. No advance twice. No action.
And there it is. First Astro script out the door. I think that's a fairly safe line of play. Zach does have the Jackson Howard in hand, and so if the clot was installed, he could recover from that situation.
Definitely.
Wild side coming out.
I'm not familiar with the art still.
Yeah, that's not the draw that Pacer needs right now.
These more viruses.
Oh, and a duplicate Aesop.
And it's 1 click left right now.
Go trash Sensei.
Really sad turn. I agree. Sensei is a really
You've got money.
really impactful card.
Oh god, running R&D.
Instead, chooses
He
to
can
go to
res
R&D.
anything he wants. Now you're tagged. You lost everything.
Ugh. And Pacer is just not pleased, I can only imagine, with this series of events.
Oh yeah, he's right. If he installs the wild side, Corp bounces with Archangel. Yeah, I know. Okay. I'm not really following. That's right. Oh man, I just don't know what Pacer can do then.
Yep. That second Astro script, or third rather.
Off of Sansen too. Counters alive.
Unbelievable.
I had another one in hand. I had just discarded
I felt that.
Sensi Actor, absolutely
Just winning this game.
taking this game
Single-handedly just winning the game.
whole new level for Near Earth Hub.
Look one.
Yeah, at this point,
Stays.
might as well go crazy.
You have an attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Oh, you get okay.
Cash, try again.
Certainly do get that fresh access, a little bit of econ. Maybe. No.
Go Trash Sensei, please.
Yeah. Not yet. We'll just go to
That's game.
And there it is.
Wow.
Unbelievable. That turn where Pacer ran in with the imp with all intent of trashing Sensi, and Zach was able to purge the imp token with the Cyberduck's virus suite.
And the fact that it was
In my opinion,
Even at
was
the
a
risk
turning
of, like,
point.
you know, you lost a card as well because you had to lose one from the
That's right.
hacktivist, but
From
he still chose to
Hacktivist.
do it. Strong
I
play.
think that was a really wise play, and
Yeah.
it paid off.
The Pacer never tried to go back. 2 credits the whole game. Yeah, Sensi stays up the whole game. 2
Major
credits.
div against.
It's just insane. You just basically lost to Sensi. Like, we've seen people, like, lose to DBS. Just let it happen.
Yep. Yep.
And people just lose to Sensi.
And Sensi doing work, crazy work. And there it is, Zach Cavis taking game 2
Yep.
of his top 8 run.